Hi everybody, I don't know about you, but I am a huge fan of the movie The Parent Trap, and if you are too, I've got some very good news. I was talking to the director of the film, Nancy Myers, not too long ago, and I said, Nancy, let's get the cast back together. Let's do a reunion. Come on, what do you think? And they all said yes, with one condition, that it be a fundraiser for World Central Kitchen, an incredible organization that is serving millions of meals, not only to frontline healthcare workers, but in communities all over the country that have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic. So you can text parent to 80100, and that's a $10 donation, or you can go to wck.org/parenttrap and support this extraordinary organization that's doing so much good work. So, in the meantime, enjoy.
Good luck.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie and I'm here to be your moderator.
Yeah, good luck, Katie, by the way.
It's been 22 years, you guys, and this is really the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
You know, I've watched The Parent Trap a million times. Was it as much fun as it looked to make this movie?
I had such a blast doing this movie. The first thing I remember was meeting Lindsay at, I think it was some kind of a screen test. You were 11, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, one of the most talented people I've ever met, period. Forget that she's 11 years old. Then I actually thought there were two girls. I really did, because your accent was so perfect.
I was so young and it was just so fresh for me. It was my first movie audition, my first screen test, my first time in front of, people like Nancy and Charles and on a sound stage. So I was just like a kid and a pig in what you say. So I was really excited.
You were a natural. It just fell right into it.
8 weeks really is too long, Hal. A lot's been happening around here.
A lot's happened to me too, Dad. I mean, I feel like I'm practically a new woman.
Tell us a little bit about the audition process and how you landed on Lindsay.
I think that we saw a lot of kids, and some of them became movie stars, actually. But we narrowed it down. How many, Nancy? Like 6? Did we test 6 girls? Was it that?
6, yeah.
I think Lindsay might have been the second or third girl up. She was testing with Dennis, and I would say within 2 or 3 minutes, we both knew she had the part. You couldn't beat her. She was just amazing.
What was it, Nancy, about Lindsay that made you think this is the one or this is the two?
Well, putting aside how adorable she looked, she had that quality that just sort of leapt up at you and pulled you in. And I think to be a movie star and to be the lead of a movie, you need to have that connection with the camera that's very present.
Charles, I want to ask you about Meredith Blake. How did you know you had your woman with Elaine?
Hi.
I think with this movie, it's like with Simon. The minute Simon read that part, and I think Nancy and I knew, we don't have to look any further.
Elaine, you were so damn good as Meredith Blake. How did you channel such a nightmare?
One more trick from you two, and I promise I will make your lives miserable from the day I say I do.
Let's talk about this, because at the time, yes, she was a nightmare, but Meredith has really come around now. Like, there's a whole generation who thinks Meredith is like #goals. There was this online campaign, #Justice for Meredith Blake. And I'm like, right on, yes, Meredith is getting her dues.
The first change I make is to send that two-faced little brat off to boarding school in Timbuktu.
Oof, nice woman.
Proud of it, babe.
Lisa Ann, did you guys do a lot of impromptu kind of riffing?
Well, I will say this. There are scripts that you get when you're, especially in comedy, where you go, I'd say it like this, or let me judge that line, or let me try an alternate joke even. And it's unnecessary in Nancy and Charles's script. I really found that it was like it was written for me.
Hi, you probably don't remember me.
Kissy.
I knew I always liked her.
Simon, you auditioned for the photographer, right?
I auditioned for a part with one line.
Bridal shop scene. That's right.
It was Charles and Nancy, and they both kind of went like this and said, okay, look, there's a Couric, he's called Martin. Go and have a little read and come back and we'll have a look at Martin, shall we?
Oh, Martin.
I found a stowaway in your suitcase.
Oh my God, Guppy.
Well, since he's not our Cuppy, shall we dispose of the little creature?
And then, of course, I'm asked to do the handshake.
Lindsay, do you still remember the handshake?
I've been asked to do it, and yeah, I do remember. I think there's a little bit where I mess it up. The most incredible thing about The Parent Trap in itself is even still younger generations and little kids that go to camp, they even know it now.
This was a Herculean feat when you all shot this, not only for Lindsay, because I want to talk to her about the challenges of playing these two characters at just 11 years old, but from a director's point of view, how tough was that at that time?
It's really, really hard to do these kind of shots. We had a match to one take. And normally in the editing room, you can pick the take you want to use. I had to pick the take on the spot to match to it, and they'd show it to you. I'd say, Lindsay, this is what we're matching to.
Nancy, we should give a shout out to Lindsay's double in this movie.
Yeah, Aaron Mackey was with us every single day of the shoot, but Aaron was brilliant because if you turn just a little bit too much, you could see that it wasn't Lindsay, but it was actually ultimately a fun experience and experiment, and it worked. And even if you look at it now, it looks pretty good.
I remember testing when we had to do the nail polish to see how long the blue hard candy nail polish would take to put on and take off. And I would just run, sit there, change everything, and then start talking like this. Once the long hair was on, it felt very different for me. And I feel like, I don't know if this goes for all actors, but once you put a wig on someone, you feel different. It's a different, you're stepping out of your comfort zone and you kind of become the other character. And I feel like almost people treated me differently when I was Annie, because Annie was so much nicer and Hallie was kind of like me.
I'd love to go around and ask what everybody, if they have a favorite scene from this movie.
One is the falling in the swimming pool.
Did you have to fall in the pool multiple times?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you very much. It was a cold morning.
If we're talking cold, then let's talk about the lake, please.
The screams were epic.
I think they're still echoing from up there.
One of my favorite moments is the look that I give him when he comes in that Speedo.
Hello.
Hello. Hello to you.
Trissy, this is our butler, Martin.
How do you do? I'm her butler.
Next time you see it, count the number of props I managed to cover myself with.
I have to say, a lot of people love the dad scene in the car in the Range Rover.
Oh, by the way, thanks for all those newsy letters. I'm really glad I bought you that personalized stationery you just had to have.
Well, we meant to write, Dad, but we just got
We?
so...
Oh, me and my friend. I met this girl at camp and we got really close. Practically like sisters. She was a lovely girl.
Lovely. You seem to have gotten all proper all of a sudden. Still biting your nails, huh?
Dad, you noticed.
What do you mean noticed? You've been biting him since you could chew.
But I've decided to stop, Dad. It's a horrid habit.
Lovely girl, horrid habit.
Did I send you to camp or to finishing school?
And why do you keep saying dad at the end of every sentence?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was doing it, Dad.
Do you want to know why I keep saying dad? The truth?
Because you missed your old man so much.
Exactly. It's because my whole life, I mean, for these past 8 weeks, I was never able to say the word dad. Never. Not once. And a dad is an irreplaceable person in a girl's life.
There's a whole day devoted to celebrating fathers. Just imagine someone's life without a father. Never buying a Father's Day card, never sitting on their father's lap.
Never being able to say, hi, Dad. What's up, Dad? Bye, Dad. Catch you later, Dad.
I mean, a baby's first words are always dad, dad, aren't they?
Let me see if I get this. You miss being able to call me dad?
Yeah. I really have, Dad.
There's such lovely and beautifully written moments, but funny, but just heart-wrenching, because it's like missing that person in your life, and then finally having that person. You forget, even in times that we live in the world, like you forget how much you miss people until you're actually with them and you haven't seen them in a while. And I think those scenes really tear me up.
That one with Natasha gets me as a mom every single time.
You're not Annie. That would be correct. You're Hallie? I am.
Natasha had such an elegance and grace, and she was so maternal to me.
Just somebody so giving and so glad to be there, and transmitted that joy of being able to do what we do. And it just made everything that much better.
She would come into the hair and makeup trailer and she would literally swoon over talking about Liam and her kids. And she would call him my Liam. Truly seemed to have it all, which to me made what happened even more heartbreaking.
What do you think it is about this remake or about this movie that has really endured and stayed in the hearts of so many people?
It's a good script, and it's funny, and it's charming, and it's warm, and everybody can watch it, so it's ageless.
I think the other thing is that this movie had the fantasy of getting your parents back together. You know, and so many people, so many kids come from broken homes. I did, and I think it fulfilled that dream for kids.
It makes you believe in the possibility of love.
It's such a beautiful movie. So you just get swept up in it.
When it comes down to it, this movie just had some sort of stardust that was just sprinkled on it. Just happened in the ether.
Nancy, what about you? This was the first movie you ever directed, so it must have a very special place for you.
For me, besides the love, the hope, the kind of dreamy quality to it all, was there's another you somewhere. What if there's another? I always loved it was like magic. It was like, you know, there's another person like me that I can have this relationship with, more than a sister, as they say in the movie. We're twins. Also, one other thing I'd like to add is the cast of the movie is spectacular. Everybody in every part was right on. And also, LL, we discovered a big star, you know, and we discovered somebody that everybody fell in love with.
Well, thank you. I mean,
Nancy, you're gonna make me cry. I didn't feel like I was working. It just felt like a really incredible learning experience for me, and a lot of fun. And my parents were kind of separating at the time when this was all going on, and it made it a lot easier for me to play these characters that were figuring it out. I just felt so lucky and really blessed by Nancy and Charles. Like, there's nothing, without this movie, without this, I wouldn't have gotten that acting bug. How do you not want to only act for the rest of your life after doing a film like this with such great actors? And The Parent Trap, I mean, it's beautiful. It's timeless and it's special. It's just really special. And I just feel really blessed and really grateful to have been a part of it.